On this episode of AMA Air, we talk to participants at the IMAC World Championships.
Plus, take a look at how radio control has developed over the last several decades.
And learn a little more about the AMA Foundation. All that and more on this episode of AMA Air. Hello, and welcome to AMA Air, your source for modeling news. I'm Chris Savage.
And I'm Claire Oldenheisen, your guest host today. Bomber Field USA will be hosting Jetoberfest 2018, October 19th and 20th in Monaville, Texas. Attendees can enjoy a weekend of high-speed, high-performance jet flying.
The RC Wingers will be holding an annual Warbird and Antique Aircraft event October 20th and 21st in Mooresville, North Carolina. Both airplanes and helicopters are welcome.
The Columbiana County Centaur RC Club will be hosting the Spook and Spice Fun Fly on October 20th in Lisbon, Ohio. The event will combine a Halloween party with a chili cook-off.
The Tulsa Glue Daubers will be holding an event on October 27th and 28th in Catoosa, Oklahoma. The event will feature 75-mile-per-hour speed limit combat and old-time combat.
The Antelope Valley Tailwinds will be holding the 6th annual AVTICPA West Coast Regionals on October 27th in Lancaster, California. All classes of classic pattern will be offered.
The Sedalia RC Flyers will be hosting the Warbirds over Sedalia Toy Drive and Flying event on October 20th in Sedalia, Missouri. New toy donations are accepted.
For more information on these events, or to find one in your area, you can check out the sanctioned event calendar in Model Aviation or at modelaircraft.org.
So I love how October can be turned into anything fest. So we have like Jetoberfest.
Yep.
And I think it's also official that we've reached pumpkin spice season.
Yes.
Because we also have that going on in our event lineup.
I know, and I love I love anything with puns, so I would love to go to the Spook and Spice fly-in. That would be amazing. That's like right up my alley.
That's fantastic.
Coming up, hear from some IMAC competitors.
Hi, my name's Lawrence Tugas. I'm the AMA District 10 Vice President. We're going to have a District 10 fly-in. We're going to hold it October 26th through the 28th in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. We're doing this for a good cause. All of our proceeds are going to the Marine Corps Toys for Tots charity. We're going to show them that AMA members can give with their hearts and have a good time at the same time. So hope to see you there October 26th through the 28th.
On September 26, the House of Representatives passed the FAA Reauthorization Bill, which includes new provisions on how recreational model aircraft operators are permitted to fly. It's likely the Senate will also vote and pass the bill in the coming days, which will be signed by President Trump. This FAA Reauthorization Bill includes significant modifications to our hobby. While some of the changes are positive and include provisions that AMA has championed, there are harmful new rules, including a 400 AGL altitude cap in Class G airspace. Because of our members' strong response to contact Congress expressing their opposition, AMA was afforded new opportunities to resolve problems in the bill. This week, AMA continues to meet with legislators and the FAA. You can read some of the provisions in the bill and additional updates at modelaircraft.org/gov.
At the end of August, the National Model Aviation Museum added 2 new items to its collection. The Spirit SC was designed by Steve Helms with the help of Masaki Harada in 1993. The Spirit's design incorporated some new ideas for radio control pattern competition. It was lighter, with a longer fuselage, and it had retractable landing gear installed. Robert Schmidt also donated a McCoy 29 custom RC glow engine. You might be familiar with McCoy redhead engines, but this addition to the collection has a blue painted head. To learn more about these additions, visit amablog.modelaircraft.org and click on the National Model Aviation Museum's blog.
Each year, the AMA presents graduating seniors with individual scholarships ranging from $500 to $8,000. This year, a total of $59,000 was awarded to 13 students across the country. For the full list of winners, visit amafoundation.modelaircraft.org. Later in the show, we'll let you know how you can contribute to the AMA Scholarship Fund.
The IMAC World Championships were held September 4th through 8th here at the International Air Modeling Center. Even though the weather didn't quite cooperate, the participants still enjoyed the event. Let's take a look.
Rain took over the 2018 IMAC World Championships.
Well, you want to make sure every flight is always your best flight, but when we have lots of flights, we know we have some rounds we can drop. And with not being able to fly as many days as we were supposed to, we don't get those drops that some of us were counting on. So you have to make every flight count as your best flight all the time.
Even without the rain, competing at a global level might be stressful, if not intimidating, especially if your child is the one competing.
So it's a lot of emotions, we're very happy for him and, very nervous at the same time, to be on such a big stage. It's nerve-wracking for a parent to stand by and watch all that happen.
So what does it take to compete in a world championship? Dedication.
Vince travels with his radio and practices in a hotel room while he's traveling for business.
Yeah.
So it's a level of commitment that goes beyond the ordinary weekend, right? It's a level of interest that's there all the time.
But the reward is well worth the months of hard work.
It's a really nice feeling, okay, because you are with the best pilot of the world. When you're waiting to fly, you feel something, oh wow, I'm here. I must fly here. Okay, I must do my best,
What an experience. Meeting fellow competitors, it's absolutely been a dream.
And no dream is better than model aviation enthusiasts from around the world celebrating the hobby together.
We made a freestyle flight in the rain, and everybody was wet, but nobody cares. I mean, we have a lot of fun, and then we came back here and we made a barbecue with everyone, and we had some music. And
it's been absolutely fantastic. We've had, as you say in these parts, an awesome time. It's absolutely been brilliant.
After all, we're all part of one big family growing each day.
We've known each other for 15 years, worked together, and Vince has been an inspiration for getting involved in model aviation.
The 2022 IMAC World Championships will be held in Italy.
Coming up, we visit the National Model Aviation Museum to discover how radio control has evolved. The National Model Aviation Museum works to preserve the history of model aviation. Recently, we visited the museum with Tony Stillman to learn more about radio control and transmitters. Let's take a look.
I'm Tony Stillman, here at the AMA Museum, the National Model Aviation Museum in Muncie, Indiana. And we're going to talk a little bit about the history of radio control. We're going to start off really where radio control began for most of us, and that's with Walt Good and the Good brothers and their aircraft, the Big Gulf. This was really the first model that was successful, and they flew this. This was back in 1937. So this is a pretty cool piece of history, and it's nice to see the original radio and equipment. And this was actually the transmitter, which had a great big antenna that was a base antenna, and this was actually the radio that's in the aircraft. So this has been pulled out, and this is actually the equipment that was in the aircraft that they flew it with. Obviously, very large. And it was just rudder elevator. So now we're going to move over here to the radio display case. And here again, at the very beginning, there weren't any commercially available radio systems. So all the equipment was something that was passed along. They would take somebody's designs and modify it and improve it, do a few things. And so over a period of time, modelers, who modelers are, they take equipment and make it better, make changes. And we went through several different types of radio equipment and added new channels. So instead of just operating rudder and elevator, they came through more and more channels. We had rudder, elevator, and throttle, and trim, and then ailerons. But as we started moving into the 60s and the 70s, we were able to get transistors and transmitters got much smaller. One of the earlier ones would be the citizenship radio control, which was a kit. And you could buy that kit, that's the assembled ones laying on the bottom. You could buy that kit for $24.95 and assemble it yourself, and you had a transmitter that you could hold in your hand. And this proportional transmitter that's in the middle, that was kind of a real innovative type design. Before, you had either full right or full left or full up or full down. You actually went to proportional, where wherever you move the stick, that's where the control surfaces would move. Just like a full-scale airplane, you move it part way, the control surface moves part way. At this particular time, virtually all the equipment was made in the United States, which might seem kind of strange to the new modelers, but all the equipment was made here in the USA. And keep in mind, these were all just single model airplanes. They weren't computerized. You usually had one transmitter for every airplane you had. So if you had 5 or 6 airplanes, you had 5 or 6 transmitters. And then we kind of started transitioning outside of build it yourself. Heathkit was probably one of the last ones around that had a kit that you actually assembled. And then in the late 70s, the Japanese radio equipment started showing up on the market. Futaba was really the first ones in the US market. They were cheaper, very reliable, good quality, and started giving the US companies a run for their money. The items here on the bottom start showing the 2.4 conversion, and the 2.4 system was really a breakthrough in that you could just turn on your radio and you could fly it. It would not interfere with anybody else. So that improved safety, improved conditions to where we could fly more models together, have different competitions that we weren't able to hold before, and has kind of paved the way to today's radio system. Kind of a quick overview on our history and where we've come from. And if you're fairly new to modeling, you haven't been flying for maybe only 10 years or so, you probably haven't seen a lot of these older radios. So it's something you might want to take a look at. Come by the museum here in Muncie and get a chance and look through some of these items, and then again talk to some of your older folks there at your club. They probably have some experience with them and can give you a little insight on what it was like to fly back in the 70s and even earlier.
You can also read more about the history of radio control at modelaviation.com. I've been really impressed when I go to out on site, for example, during the Nats, to see the passion that everybody has for all of the disciplines of flying. You know, a lot of folks think about model airplanes and they immediately think of RC airplanes.
It's true, yeah.
There's so much more to the hobby, and I've had an opportunity since I've been here to try a lot of those different kinds of flying, and they're all unique and they all have their own unique appeal.
Yeah, and I love the history side of it. I mean, if you've ever gotten an opportunity to see our collection behind the scenes, you know, there's so much to it, and it's incredible to learn more about that. So to see the behind the scenes aspect and then to see it in action on the field is just amazing.
Very, very cool.
Coming up, learn a little more about the AMA Foundation and what your support can do. The AMA Foundation serves as a supporting organization that fundraises and grants funds exclusively for and on behalf of the AMA. Led by its board of directors, the AMA Foundation raises and grants funds to support AMA's educational and charitable programs and services. These programs include scholarships, as we mentioned earlier, but there are many more, including flying site assistance, club disaster relief, and other educational programs listed at amaflightschool.org. Donations to the AMA Foundation can also support the National Model Aviation Museum. To donate, simply visit amafoundation.modelaircraft.org and click Donate Now. The AMA Foundation is recognized as an educational and scientific nonprofit organization, so your contributions may be tax deductible.
Well, that's all for this episode of AMA Air. You can stay connected with us by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
For even more videos, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And from all of us here at AMA, thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time, but for now, it's time to get flying.